Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. This is our channel, Let's Make Designs. And today I'm going to show you guys how to make a really simple design. I'm also trying a different method of screen recording. And you guys just let me know which way you prefer. If you guys would prefer me to record my tablet with my camera or to do screen recording. It's really whatever works best for you guys. So just let me know. So today I'm going to show you my version of the design, Holy with a Hint of Hood. Pray with me, don't play with me. So to start, we're going to grab our font by adding text. And we're going to find a font that works best for the Holy and the Hood, which is a thicker font. I like Impact for those thick fonts. Holy, and then we're going to put Hood in the same box because we can always split those up, slice them. And I like lining it up with the snapping tool. Sometimes the snapping tool can get kind of annoying, so I turn it off, but I turn it on when I need it. And just to show you guys, there are other fonts, but I just like Impact, so that's why it's my first go-to. But I have a lot of fonts. This one's another nice one to use. But I have a ton of fonts. I'm going to show you guys in another video how you can download these fonts and put them into your Procreate. So you guys can have a lot of fonts too. More fonts, the more you can do, definitely. But overall, I think I like Impact the best for this. And I'm just going to line it up where I want it. This looks about right. And got to keep in mind I'm going to put with a hint of in between, and then at the end, pray with me, don't play with me. So I'm going to slice up Holy from Hood by using that little S tool up top and the rectangle. Now that does roster size the font, which means that it can't be edited or changed to a different font. It's now an image. And I'm going to play with these just so I can kind of get them about right. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I play with it a little more than I probably should or need to. But now we're going to add in the other part, which is usually more of a script font, kind of like this one, but we want to see what it looks like with the words. So I'm going to type in the words with a hint of. I really like this font, but I want to line it up and see how it's actually going to look. Right now it's kind of off-centered. So I'm going to line it up, and with that snapping tool it helps me. It'll line up with that word on the left. Sometimes it's not perfect though, and you kind of have to manually do it. But let's see what another font would look like. And go through a bunch of different fonts really fast and just see which one I prefer the best. Now I kind of sped this up just so you guys didn't have to sit there and watch me go through all the different fonts, because I like to try everything. But I really like this one. I'm not really liking the space in between, but I can always move those words a little bit. And that's centered. Just playing with the fonts. You want to do whatever looks best to you. It's really subjective. It's whatever you like. Now we're going to add the bottom part. Pray with me, don't play with me. So I'm going to type that in. I think it looks best in all lowercase. I'm going to finish typing this out, but I have to extend out the text box, or it'll put it into a different line like this, so I have to stretch it. And I really don't like that apostrophe. It doesn't seem like it is part of that font. So let's see what it looks like without. Now the best solution would probably be I'm going to select that apostrophe and change the font to something similar that has a nicer looking one, because that is an ugly apostrophe. I'm going to go through the different fonts and try to find a better looking one. So I'm just going through and trying to find a nicer looking one, and doing this by looking at fonts that are similar that might have a better looking apostrophe. And this one looks okay. I might end up removing it altogether and just having no apostrophe. But now I want to play with the placing until I get it to where I like it. Now, I don't know if I don't think I want the font to overlap with the Holy and the Hood. So I'm just playing with that. Now I'm just going to start playing with the placing of the font, like I said, and just making it look good to me. And like I said, it's really subjective. See, it's not really center. It says it's center, but it's not, so I'm just going to line that up. And I'm just going to make it look good to me. And like I said, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Some people won't care for your design. Others will. Some will pay for it, or some will love what you make with it. Others won't care for that, and that's okay. So sometimes a snapping tool can be annoying. Like I said, it'll snap it into a place where you really don't want it, especially when you're doing a design. You don't exactly want it where they want it, or where the program wants it. So removing the layers I don't need. Now just selecting all by sliding over on each layer. So you pick each layer and you slide to the right with your finger. It selects some blue, and you can select all layers and move it at one time. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to find an image that I want to put over the Holy and the Hood. Now a lot of designs I've seen have rainbow cheetah print over it or some type of animal print. Now you can be totally original with this, but I found some that I liked. This is just me speeding it up. And of course you can go on Etsy and you can buy images. I don't own these images, so don't come at me, but this is just for my personal use for this design, just to show you guys that you can easily get things to put over it. So I'm going to try this one. I really like the snake skin. And you stretch it to about the size of the wording or the image you're trying to put it over. You select clipping mask and it will cover that font. Now it looks really, really good basing, just because I don't like all that space in between. So I'm going to move it up. I'm going to turn off the snapping tool, because sometimes it can be annoying and it just wants to snap it like that where it wants to go, and I kind of want to go somewhere in between those spots. So I'm going to zoom in with the snapping tool on and just move it up a little bit. That's kind of how you can get around it snapping itself, is when you zoom in. Now we're going to move the Holy as well. I want to move that down probably just a little bit, just so it's kind of hugging that wording in between, and then bringing up the bottom wording. I still don't like that apostrophe because it just kind of runs in to the hood. So I might just end up removing that, but let me see what this design's going to look like with another picture over top. I really like this one. So we're going to stretch it over the wording that we want to cover, and I'm going to select clipping mask, and there you go. So whatever layer is on top of the, whatever layer is on top and the one you select for the clipping mask, that's the one that'll show. Now we're going to take that out. Yeah, I think it looks better just without it, and that's what I'm going to do. See, I think it looks best without that apostrophe in it. Now I can play with where the font is without having to worry about that. And I think that that looks really good. But I'm going to show one more layer on top and another picture just for diversity of different images that I can put on top. Now be careful with smaller images like this. You don't want to stretch them and they get pixelated, but this one still looks good. And then clipping mask. You tap on that layer and those options come up. Now, I really didn't like that one when I looked at it. It kind of got a little blurry, but this one didn't. Tap it, clipping mask, and there we go. Now you're going to export it as a PNG, so you want to remove that background. Click share under the wrench and share as a PNG. Now you can save it to your files, or you can even save image to your gallery, depending on what you're wanting to use it for. And then it exports it. I save my image in my gallery and to my files most of the time. And I usually save each version that I make. Now I'm going to show you a cool little trick. Now say you want the snake skin to be pink or blue or purple or red. You can go into there and change your hue, saturation, and brightness. And the hue, you can move it over to change it to any type of color you want. You could bring up the saturation, make it brighter or not as bright as far as color wise. And you can get a ton of different color variations. This is a cool trick also when you're needing to change a color of one thing in a design. Now this is under that magic wand on the top, and when you select that, it gives you the option of hue, saturation, and brightness. Now you can play with this all you want until you get the color that you like. And I really like this color. Looks really good. Now I'm going to also show you how you can do this with the other design. That's the holographic one. Now you go in there and you select layer. Now by doing this, oh wait, I think I have the wrong layer selected. Yep, I got the snake skin still one. Okay, hue, saturation, layer. Now see how crazy it changes these colors. I think that's awesome. You can bring it up, make it really bright, make it really dull, but I like it somewhere in between, kind of how the design was. But that'll give you some variation in your design and mix up the photo that you choose to put over it. Now I'm going to show you guys one more thing, and that's how to put a border, like a black border or white border, whatever color you want, around font. So we're going to add an outline around Holy and Hood. So we're going to find the font that we used, and I'm going to type in the word. Now this TT over there on the right, when you select that, it changes all fonts to capitals, capital letters. And then that O that's hollowed out changes it to be like that. So it's just the outline. Now we're going to line that up, put on the white background just so it's easier to see. We're going to line up Holy with the word underneath it. You can kind of see where I'm going with this. You want to make it as tall as the font is, and we did stretch it lengthwise a little bit, so we're going to do that with this. Turn off snapping so we can line it up correctly. Now with the select tool on, we're going to put it on freeform so we can stretch that lengthwise. And there's the outline. I'm going to do it one more time for Hood in the same font. We're going to type in Hood, and I just did caps lock for this one because I remembered. Select that O, the outline, and we're going to stretch it again to the height of the font. And we're going to line that up. And then I'm going to turn freeform on so I can move it as I want. And make sure everything looks good, everything's covered. And that looks really good. Now, I always have a bad habit of keep positioning fonts and designs till it's perfect, at least in my mind. Nothing's ever perfect really, but I'm going to move this hood down, which means that I also need to move the outline and also the coloring underneath as well. So I'm going to select that, move it down, and then pick the outline and move that down as well. Now I'm not sure if that looked any better, but to me it did, I guess. Still kind of playing with fonts and making sure it all looks good to me. Now snapping can be a blessing and a curse, because it wants to do what it wants to do. But I'm just going to get this right so it looks good to me. That's all that matters. Move that over. Looks centered to me. And there you go. That's how you make a simple font design. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Got more videos coming, so just stick around. And I hope you guys have a good day or good night. Bye.
What a wonderful